We've been very fortunate to have Steve Sexton, president of the Sexton Advisory Group, on for the past several months, providing you with valuable tips and information as part of our Money Minute segment. Well, today Steve is here to discuss some of those bigger ticket events that happen maybe once or twice in your lifetime and how to handle them, because I know there's so much that goes with it. Sometimes, Steve, it can seem overwhelming. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, you know what? You're right. Most people, when they're looking to sell a home, their business, or looking to retire, they're doing it once. And they really don't know all the questions to ask in order to make a sound decision. And the best example I can give is the one that an attorney just referred to us. And what happened is this gentleman's wife had passed away, which is a sad event, but he says, hey, the house is too big, I want to move, and he's going to get about $500,000 from the sale of the home. And he thinks he's going to take that and move it over and use it for income and so on. Now, what he didn't realize is the fact that they didn't have a trust, which means the value of the house didn't step up, so he doesn't get it all tax-free. And since he's now single, he only gets a $250,000 exemption. So he has a $250,000 income on top of his regular income. So when we looked at it, it was going to cost him $150,000 in taxes, and he was going to lose about 35% of that $500,000 he thought that would provide him an income. Now, we did some simple things, and we helped him buy a tax deduction that would eliminate it. He didn't get the whole $500,000, but $480,000 wasn't too bad.
Pretty darn close.
Oh, yeah. People make those decisions all the time, especially another one is when we have a gentleman that works for a company. They have a 401k, but they issue stock in the 401k. His advisor said, hey, we'll just roll this out into an IRA. And you think, hey, we'll just do that. Problem is the gentleman wants to give it off to his son, and he's never going to utilize it. So if he converts it into a Roth, it'll cost him $300,000 in taxes. If he takes it out over his lifetime with the required minimum distribution, he'll spend $200,000 or $300,000 in taxes there, and then his son's going to get hit with taxes. But if we asked a few questions, there's a tax code called net unrealized capital gain. And since the company issued the stock at $10 a share and it's worth $12 a share, he can pay the difference in capital gains and take it all out. So this $600,000, he would only pay capital gains on $100,000, and that's $15,000. And now what he's planning to do is buy a big life insurance policy, so when he passes away, his son's going to get $2.5 million tax-free. And it saved him hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. Those big ticket items, people just don't know.
Well, and I was going to say, these are things that common folks don't know unless they really study and are experts like you are. So, I mean, where do we even start with getting that information?
Well, first of all, you want to sit down and talk to somebody who understands the questions you need to ask and have done it a few hundred times.
A few hundred. I was going to say once, twice, 5,000.
Well, basically what we really do is we put people through a three-step review. And the review is, what is the taxable impact of making this life decision? How does it compound your tax return? And what strategies can you implement to lower or eliminate those taxes? And then it's, how does that, what those proceeds, how does that affect your future income needs with inflation and all that? And then, hey, what do you need from a return to make sure your life works the way you want? And then, how do you pass it off to somebody you love or the charity you love with the least amount of taxes possible to them? So we want to go through that whole review process. And the other most important thing is you want to be comfortable with the risk you take, because you don't want to be up at night going, oh my God, is the stock market going up and down? Or if you're comfortable with that, great. You know, so we want to do those type of things, and you want to make sure whoever you work with, you get them to ask those questions. So it's very, very important.
Really interesting, all the different elements and the aspects that go with it, because what risk factor is okay for someone would not be okay for somebody else.
Oh yeah, you and I are, you know what, we're young. I deal with a lot of people that are in their 60s and 70s, and they just don't want to lose it, so risk is not an option for them.
Yeah. People can learn so much, Steve, just by coming to one of your workshops and asking questions and getting a little bit more comfortable with some of the language that can sound like Mandarin Chinese, frankly, to a lot of us. You've got some workshops that are coming up this month.
That's right. We're on the 14th and the 19th. We're at the Hunter Steakhouse. The theme of the workshop is we're going to be talking about these large life events that people don't spend a lot of time researching because they just don't know the questions to answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach them how to take control of that for themselves. It is an educational additional outreach. We will be talking about the taxes. We'll be talking about things like the Medi-Cal spend down and things like that. It do affect seniors. So the big thing here is learn the questions to ask before you make the decision, so you can make a decision that you know it's in your best interest, not the realtors, not the financial advisors, not the family members. It's your best decision.
Wonderful. Steve Sexton, thanks so much for coming on today. I always learn a lot, and you explain it in language that all of us can understand. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Renee.
Good to have you on today. Hey, and more information, you can always go to sandiego6.com. There's Steve's info, and you can always get in touch with him, 1-800-560-2611.